This is a character. This is a scripted performance. This is a scripted performance and a satirical comedy show, and nothing I say can be taken literally. And it's scripted as well. It's been written for me, and I'm playing a character in a performance that is not based in reality, and nothing I say is true. Or is it? It brings me no pleasure to announce this. You know, they're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. All I can think about is Jeffrey Dye. What I'm saying here today to you, and this is all allegedly, of course, is upon investigating Mr. Dye, I have found some very, very nefarious things. And I wasn't even going looking for this stuff. I really wasn't. A lot of people say, oh, Ben, you're always trying to manipulate some narrative about people. You think everybody is a sinister. I wasn't looking there. When I was flipping over the stones of Jeff Dye, this was the last thing I was looking for. I've been trying to see if he was secretly vaccinated, something like that I could get him on. And I couldn't find him. I couldn't find what I was looking for. However, we do now know that, and this is going to be very quick. We're not going to spend too much time on it. We now know that there might be something very dark going on beneath the surface there. So, you know, again, it brings me no pleasure. I don't want this to be true. I don't want there to be victims. I don't want any of this to be going on, but it's dark, man. It's dark. Now, I'm going to submit my pieces of... I'm going to submit evidence to you guys. Right here. And this was put on my desk by Tommy Afters from After Tonight.
We're cracking. Last week we had Cheryl Hines. This week, I couldn't have him in the studio because he moved back to Hickory. But we did a little pod swap with John Reep.
John Reep. Everybody is aware of John Reep. Not because of the hilarious specials or because he was friends with Jeff Foxworthy and stuff, but because the guy was arrested with tons of, he was soliciting minor, crazy stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. I know we're already thrown off YouTube, but I don't even want to talk about it.
John Reep won Last Comic Standing. He's a very funny comedian. He was in all the Hemi commercials. He's from Hickory, North Carolina. He's an awesome, awesome guy. Good friend of mine.
Good friend. Awesome guy and a good friend. And he's on the Friendship podcast. Pedophile. Let's see, just very quickly, what was John... Let's just look up John Reep. Let's see what's going on in the news with John Reep. Let's see here, hold on. John Reep, and let's just hit news. What? Wait, hold on, I should have my glasses on first. What? Hickory comedian John Reep to appear in Catawba County Court on sex crime charges. The victims were ages between 1 and 13? What the hell? Hold on. I got to rewind this. Because I think Jeff Dye just said he was best friends with the guy.
But we did a little pod swap with John Reep. John Reep won Last Comic Standing. He's a very funny comedian. He was in all the Hemi commercials. He's from Hickory, North...
And also, Jeff is very aware of his whole, his whole resume. He kept up with it. I think he's actually very good friends with this guy. He knows every little twist and turn of John Reep's career as if it's a river he's traversed many times. Now, to be fair, just because someone hung out with Jeffrey Epstein in the early 90s, it doesn't make them a pedophile, right? But Let's keep watching here.
North Carolina. He's an awesome, awesome guy, good friend of mine. And so I was scheduled to be on his podcast, and I was like, you know what? Let's just pod swap this. Put it on the Patreon. Put it on Jeff Dye's Friendship. Put it on All Things Comedy.
This is the pinnacle of I'm just trying to promote my dates style of podcasting. I'm just trying to burn the day away before I do a set of let's both do each other's podcasts and both put them on our Patreons and put them out. It's a swap cast is what they call it. How about you don't do a podcast, you just take a nap? How about that? How about you go and you get a coffee? How about you call a friend? How about you stop this charade of a podcast where you interview your friends who turn out to be vicious, evil. That said, victims were aged between 1 and 13. This is your friend? You had him on the Friendship podcast. Who are you going to have next, Charles Manson? Who are you going to have next on the show, Jeff?
You guys too.
And crazy, by the way, I think Jeff is trying to make a statement by leaving this episode up. The way some rappers are still defending P. Diddy, I think that's what Jeff Dye is doing here with John Reap. I think he knows there's a dead man switch here. Maybe if he goes through and deletes his relationship with John, maybe then John Reap comes forward and says, you know, me and Jeff, that who knows? Obviously, this is all allegedly, not with John Reap though. It's been proven in the court of law. But
enjoy my friend and get to know him and hear our stories and hear us talk.
It's
talk
not
a lot
looking
about.
good.
We talked a little bit about football. Talked more about stand-up comedy and Last Comic Standing, and both of us, since we were on that, our experiences, and then also just like our journey into stand-up comedy. This episode will be very helpful if you've ever considered being a stand-up comic.
It's going to be very helpful. Okay.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Everyone that's a Patreon subscriber, all the patrons.
By the way, I found out he stopped doing, I saw an episode where he said he stopped doing this Friendship podcast because it got too expensive to produce. He's talking to a guy on Zoom. And he claims to be super rich. Nothing really adds up with this guy. And that's why now I'm looking I'm looking under every stone now, and I'm finding more and more just harrowing, evil things that are making my skin crawl.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough. This has been, I'm sure it's hard for everyone financially. I'm not going to be homeless, but I'm making a lot less money than I used to, so I appreciate you guys so
But I thought you were a rich guy. I thought you were insanely rich.
so much.
Even then, when he was getting all the TV work, before that all dried up because, he wrapped his car around a telephone pole, that all wrapped up. But apparently, he hasn't done that in 3 years, but apparently he's incredibly wealthy. I can't keep track of the lies.
And every penny that you guys are sending goes to this, and I just...
Obviously, the GoFundMe was real. The joke makes no sense. He keeps saying the joke is it was $26,000, and that's a hilarious number. That's the only point of contention he has. It makes no sense.
I can't thank you
Makes
enough.
no
If you'd like
sense.
to be a Patreon subscriber, it's $10 a month. You get to watch the podcast. You get it first, and also you get free tickets to all my comedy club shows, little goodies and treats.
And he still has the Patreon up. He's really trying to get this Patreon going, which is weird considering he's so rich. He's a big, rich guy who's going to buy a 3,000,000, that's $3 million house in Spicewood, Texas. That's what he says. Single guy with no kids, all of a sudden wants to live on a $3 million ranch, like 45 minutes outside Austin. Does anybody find that weird? He's great friends with John Reap. He has him on the Friendship pod. He doesn't pull that down after John Reap has been accused of doing things you're not even finding in the Epstein files, aside from the George H.W. Bush part. Very scary, guys. Very scary stuff. Wait, hold on. I got my links mixed up here. Hold on. Hold the phone here. Now,
Less money than I.
oh yeah, and it's guys, it's dark. It's dark. I got timestamps here. Of course, I listened to the whole John Reap pod. I got timestamps. 10:30. It's not hard to. I mean, these podcasts they do. It's over Zoom. They do an outro, an intro. They do an ad, and the whole thing is like 27 minutes long, and they have the nerve to call it a podcast. Here we go. This is dark, guys. Very dark. Look away if you have to. Minute 10:30 here.
Because they're the us of their team. They're the.
Remember, he hates me. And what do I hate more than anything in this world? Satanic pedophiles. So I'm just saying, you know, if you're against me, you're against everything I stand for.
Comedian. They're the funniest. The mascots are hilarious.
Right.
And they're always coming up with.
Okay, here we go. Right here.
Well, the reason I like.
Pedophile guy. That's the pedophile guy from the Hemi commercials. John Reap. He's the pedophile guy. Pedophile guy. Look, right here. That's John Reap. This is his best. The victims were between the ages of, I don't even want to say that out loud. I can't even say that out loud. 53 years old. Here's his mugshot. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Possession, sexual exploitation, and 3 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of him. That's insane. That's disgusting. And this man is none only than the great friend of comedian Jeff Dye.
Mascots.
Who hates me.
So much is because they.
So do with that information what you will.
They're the.
And obviously everything I'm saying is alleged.
Us of their team.
And I'm playing a character, and this is a scripted show for me. Nothing I say can be taken seriously on the show, blah, 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 you know?
They're the comedian. They're the funniest. The mascots are hilarious.
Right.
And they're always coming up with gags to be that funny without
Yes.
being able to verbalize anything. Like, they're just so creative and cool. I
So
also.
I'm going to play that one more time for you guys. Listen to this.
So
Yeah.
he just waved me out there. He's like, you know, come on out here,
They're
kid.
talking about football.
And so
I
my
love
friends
that.
They
throw
love
me over the
football.
fence, and I start dancing. And I never got to talk to him after that until years later.
Well, the reason I like mascots so much is because they're the us of their team. They're the comedian. They're
Yeah.
the funniest. The mascots are hilarious.
Right.
And they're always coming up with gags to be that funny without
Yes.
being able to verbalize anything. Like, they're just so creative and cool. I also like them because players break our hearts, you know?
Okay, so this is one of the darkest things I've ever seen a grown man admit. He says his favorite part of football games or any sort of sports game of any kind is the mascot because he identifies with the mascot. I mean, is there anything that we have in society that's well accepted that's closer to being a furry than being a mascot? And you think, what kind of social anxiety does Jeff have that he's obsessed with masks and costumes and dressing up like animals? He's interviewing John Reap, convicted pedophile of a 1-year-old on his show called The Friendship Pod. Singing his praises, doesn't take the episode down, leaves it up. Talking about how much he relates to people who dress up like bears and wolves and cats and hop around and cheer on big, strong men. I mean, look at these eyes. Look at these eyes. Something's going on. And I think he has hair plugs. He should have a Norwood number 5 by now, but he doesn't. You can find old pictures of him, you know, that he was taking the hair and putting it around here, trying to cover the, he was receding a lot more 6-7 years ago. Something happened, something changed. Now, again, everything is alleged here. I'm just trying to make sense of the man, the specimen in front of us. Jeff Dye hates my guts.
They
For no
get
reason.
traded. They sign contracts.
So already I go, that's one of the darkest things I've ever. It's somehow Jeff Dye is more tragic of a figure in this interview than the pedophile he's talking to over Zoom. It's tragic. It's sad. Then we go to 1650 here. Here we are.
I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and I just was like, what if I make a ton of Mortal Kombat masks? And I just go in and surprise the barista every day with another stupid Mortal Kombat mask. And it just got more and more carried away because I was like running.
Dark. I think I got to rewind it just a little
Hundreds. I've spent hundreds of dollars. The most
So
thing.
John Reed, pedophile, takes note of how many masks he has.
And he said, you have to ask him a question for me. All right, he's got two questions. This is coming from John Heffron.
I love John.
He wants to know about the Mortal Kombat masks. How much?
By the way, John Reap is reading this off of a computer he has likely used to watch Chop on. He's loading up. He exited out of his CP. And he went, oh, shit. Jeff Dye is calling me on Zoom. Let me exit out of my CP real quick and connect this to my monitor. I got a podcast to do. That's what John Reap is saying. You see Jeff Dye's smiling, beaming face on the TV there? Well, not 5 minutes before, there was something on there that I would never like to imagine. Hitler himself would be repulsed by it. Some of the most evil men alive would say, not for me. But on Jeff Dye's Friendship podcast, look what we have. Look what we have here. We got some sick fucking individuals here. People that are so sick, it's hard to even describe. Tough to describe. Tough to think. These 4 people that like this should be. They should be investigated.
How much have you spent on masks so far?
So here, Jeff Dye, he's obsessed with mascots in sports games. He's also obsessed with masks.
Hundreds. I've spent hundreds of dollars.
Another weird tell. Psychologically, it's all there. He has a deep psychological disorder, obsessed with masks, helmets, mascots. Very strange.
The most thing that I'm spending, so to give people some context, every day of coronavirus, I go into my coffee shop. I'm a big coffee shop guy. Like, that's where I do my writing. I also just like coffee. I like the process of going and getting the coffee and chatting up the barista. Sure. So I was like, if we have to wear masks, let's have some fun with it. So I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and I just was like, what if I make a ton of Mortal Kombat masks? And I just go in and surprise the barista every day with another stupid Mortal Kombat mask. And it just got more and more carried away because I was like running out. I was like, one day it was just like the Raiden hat from like.
Oh, so you're doing different characters from Mortal, not just one character. So you weren't Scorpion every time. You were like different ones.
I did Scorpion 3 different times, but those are 3 different Scorpion masks. I did Sub-Zero 3 times. Those were 3 different Sub-Zero masks.
Okay, Jeff, let me tell you something right now. I know you're making that convicted pedophile on Zoom crack up, laugh, and the convicted pedophile's yucking it up. Sure, he's getting a kick out of it. But let me tell you something right now, Jeff. These people that work at this coffee shop are terrified of you. This is a terrifying thing that you're doing. Spending hundreds of dollars on crazy masks and coming in and quote-unquote surprising them? This is terrifying. This is a horrifying admission. And the fact that it's killing for John Reap, the convicted pedophile, is even more damning here. This is the same as flashing. You might as well whip it out while you're in line at the coffee shop and point at it and go, these women, they're surprised, they're shocked. Strange. You could dismiss him as being a low IQ guy that thinks something like this is cute, but I think it's far more foul. Far more foul.
Smoke, Noob Saibot, Cyrax the robot, which was just a whole motorcycle helmet.
Yeah.
I did Kitana and Jade with the full woman's wig.
Terrifying. Absolutely horrifying. And the people that work at this coffee shop, they hate you. They absolutely hate your guts.
I did like the whole thing.
Right.
But if I couldn't 3D print it and paint it, I would buy it from like the place online. So I spent money on paint. I spent money on 3D printing materials. Right. I spent some of the like elastic straps and the clips and the Velcro and the hot glue. So that adds up. mixed with some masks just costed me $60 just before I even got them. So
Jeff, I'll make the accusation here right now. You're a pedophile. This is disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. It's very dark. You want to see the kind of people who are obsessed with masks in this world? I'll show you. You got a lot in common with these people. And Jeff, for all we know, you're no different than this chap right here. This sick freak. Jeff Dye goes, yeah. Hey, buddy. Have you ever thought about wearing that inside the coffee shop you go to every day? And saying, good morning. It's Friday, huh? That's a funny gag. Isn't that a funny bit? Oh, I love that. That's so funny. I'm going to if I was Jeff Dye, I would send this to John Reap and say, isn't this hilarious? Isn't this funny? The people with the darkest hearts that are walking amongst us in this world are wearing masks, and they're obsessed with the ideas of masks. Elites are obsessed with masks. It's a disgusting and foul thing. I'm getting the creepy crawlies just thinking about it. This could be Jeff. We don't even know. Jeff would think this is as hilarious as starting a GoFundMe. So, let me show you this right here. Then we go to minute 28 here at the end. This pissed me off more than anything in the interview, actually. Go to minute. Wait, no, not minute. I got the wrong timestamp here. Fuck, what was it? I think it was just the end here. Oh, it was right here. Here we go.
People want to see your tour dates. They can head over to jeffdye.com. Yep, I was just checking that out. And thank you so much.
I love checking out websites. Have you been to my website, Jeff? I think you like my website
For
quite a bit.
number one, letting me be on your podcast. This is a Smashcast. And also, thank you for being on Country-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know what a smash cast is. I think the term he's looking for is swap cast, but obviously he's thinking about other things.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, brother.
My pleasure. See you.
Brother, he called a convicted pedophile his brother. As if they're blood.
See you, John.
Jeff Dye, everybody. Thank you for being on Country-ish podcast.
Thanks for having me, brother.
My pleasure. See you, buddy.
When the .onion link is good as fuck.
See you, John.
Jeff Dye, everybody.
How about that?
How about that? A convicted pedophile.
Buddy.
How about that? Hey.
How about that?
How about
what
that?
a great episode.
Wow,
you
what
know,
a great
I've
episode.
said, how about
You know, the youngest victim was only 1 year old.
that after every single guest for 120-something weeks?
And this thing really grinds my gears, because if your podcast is good, you don't have to do a thing at the end saying, wow, trying to trick the audience into thinking they just saw something spectacular. Wow! Whoa! Guys, thanks for joining me this week. Having to be a hype man for your own show at the end. Summarizing the whole thing, and if the show's good, you don't have to do it, and he knows it stinks. He knows it stinks. That's why he stopped doing the show.
19 weeks. That's a lot
And his
of
new show stinks. It sucks ass too. He'll stop doing that as well.
times to say, how about that? But anyways, how about that?
How about
John Reap's
that?
the best. I love that guy. He's so cool.
I love that guy. He's so cool.
But anyways, how about that? John Reap's the best. I love that guy. He's so
He's the best. He's my brother. He's the best.
cool. I've got cameo questions from the John Reap, or not John Reap, but from John Heffron also. So that was kind of exciting. I didn't expect that. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the patrons and subscribers. Patreon, you have helped my life. Thank you. Love you.
Again, weird. Patreon has, from what I can tell, maybe 12 people on it. I don't think he's ever cracked 20. And he's trying to do the fake it till you make it thing and saying that Patreon's changed his life financially. Where's this $3 million house in Spicewood, Jeff? When's this happening? When's this happening? Since when did super uber wealthy people, why are they in Sherman Oaks? What is that about? What multi-millionaires are living in one bedrooms in Sherman Oaks? Nothing's adding up here. The only thing that's adding up is, you know, look at this. And I want you guys to be very well aware that none of this brings me any pleasure at all to even find out. I'm actually horrified by it because that means there's victims, so I'm not gleeful about this.
Well, I feel like I like. Okay. Actually, you guys.
And he says the audience made me tell this joke, even though he's the one that wrote it.
Saying this. This is what makes me naughty in public. You know, you guys encourage all this. I'll give an example. I love you guys. So I'm gonna.
They're all cheering. They're about to be horrified. They're all cheering right now. Yeah, do it. Do the edgy joke.
I'm at a dinner, right?
So then he goes into clearly just a real story of something that happened. Here we go. It's 30 seconds of a joke.
Again, I always want to play. I always want to be silly. And it's all my friends. And
Not on your podcast. Not on your podcast. You don't make any jokes on your show.
I always want to play. I always want to be silly.
No jokes on Jeff Dye's show.
Beautiful wives.
Jeffrey Dye.
It's like a big
I call him.
thing.
Jeffrey.
And someone was just asking me, like, at the dinner. They were like, oh, hey, Jeff, do you have any kids? And I was like, nah, I usually just finish on her tits. You know? I thought it was so funny. And
There's a couple people, you know, they're drunk. These whores are in the front. They're whacked. I've also heard a comedian message me and said they knew Jeff maybe 10 years ago, and he would come into this comedy club and always film his bits, and in post, he would make them add canned laughter. And if you listen to all of Jeff Dye's clips from his stand-up, there's always this lady in every single clip, some weird kind of, like a sitcom kind of, like a woo, and the class. It's very strange. I think a lot of this is canned, but let's not miss the forest for the trees here.
Isn't that beautiful?
He's sitting at Christmas dinner with minors. He doesn't have any kids himself. I don't know why he's at a table with a bunch of little kids and these parents, but Jeff is also there, sucking fucking ass, talking about himself at the end and culture war horse shit. And this is what he says.
It's like a big Christmas thing. And someone was just asking me, like, at the dinner. They were like, oh, hey, Jeff, do you have any kids? And I was like, nah, I usually just finish on her tits. You know?
So in front of the children, the minors, he's talking about how he loves ropes of semen on a naked woman's body in bed after he has been having unprotected sex with the woman. Jeff, woke isn't going to like that one. Hey, Jeff, I think woke might have a problem with that one, buddy. You might get the police called on you for that one, and I'm not talking about the PC police. The other day, I'm hanging out with a bunch of kids. A bunch of kids are there, my friends' kids. You know, they're all in the age range that John Reap would like, and I'm sitting there, I'm talking about fucking whacking off, and it's like, you know, I'm just a silly guy. I'm funny. I'm just trying to be funny at Christmas dinner. Jeff, this is a horrifying story. This is terrifying. I hope to God, like every other joke you've told, that you made it up. I'd punch you in the fucking jaw if you did that in front of my kids. Are you out of your mind? Are you a fucking moron? Again, it brings me no pleasure to find all this stuff out, but I mean, take a look at this. Stop bringing children to bars. He's in Manhattan Beach when he tweets this. This is where the McMartin, preschool thing happened. That might be a coincidence, but that's where Ted Gunderson found the tunnels and everything. But he wants you to stop bringing children to bars because he gets drunk and he maybe, he's tempted. I think that's why he's going, don't bring them to the bars. It tempts me. He doesn't want to be put in a position where he might, like his fellow brother, John Reap, he might be tempted by the fruit. Again, I really want to stress this. No pleasure in finding any of this out, but I mean, the man presents the evidence against himself here. Guys, I mean, am I wrong? Look at this damning piece of evidence. And you might be saying, Ben, you photoshopped this. I'll retweet it. Go find it. Go have fun. Go have fun. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. Children, when playing hide and go seek, the best hiding spot is a stranger's van. No one will ever find you. For a second, I had to look at that Twitter account and make sure it wasn't coming from the comedic mind of John Reap. When I am very rich, I will buy 12 children and make my very own live Hunger Games in my yard. Winner gets to live with me. March 2012. Now, I haven't looked through all the Jeffrey Epstein files yet, but we might find something bad in there. We might not be finding his name because maybe it's getting mixed in with Jeffrey's. Who knows? Sad. He's talking. If you go through his Twitter account, he's talking about buying kids. He's talking about cum in front of children. It's all very. If you watch the Free Burt show too, I'm very confused by this. He's talking about his 12-year-old daughter and her hands covered in. And you might say, Ben, why are you talking about this? If you watch Burt's Netflix show, he's talking about children. He's talking about his daughter, who's 12. He's describing her hands covered in sexual fluids. And he thinks it's hysterical. I'm so disgusted by it. The whole time he's just talking about his 12-year-old giving blowjobs. It's the weird. I don't know who greenlighted this thing in Netflix. It's so bizarre. It disgusts me. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. It makes me absolutely fucking sick.